It's called the city of 10,000 lamps. It's called the city of 10,000 Buddhas. Started with about to bring enlightenment to every living thing. It's a place for cultivation. It's a place for transformation of the common one into the holy Sangha.
Try your best is a wonderful encouragement that Master Hsuan Hua often used throughout his teaching career to inform his disciples how to practice. It's only 3 words. It's the 3-word teaching. And within those 3 words, one can build a entire foundation for Buddhist practice. If one tries one's best, and in one's heart, one knows one has, then we have a really good excuse when we fail. And Dharma practice is one practice that is practiced for a reason. No pun intended, but it's practiced because you have to practice failing a lot and getting over it before you see the light. So Dharma practice is not about successes only. Dharma practice is a lot about failing. But there's always a silver lining if you've tried your best. You can examine your heart and say, yeah, I really screwed up, but at least I gave it my all. If you do that, then that silver lining will keep you in the game a really long time. If you don't do that, you'll be out the door in short order. And when you have a teacher, a teacher that you take refuge with and you study under and you make a commitment to, trying your best is the best way to draw close to that teacher. It's not by seeing him every day at all. It's not by being in his presence every day. It's by practicing his teachings, the Dharma body. It's by being in the teacher's, through practice, being in together with the Dharma body of the teacher. And that is everywhere that you go where you practice the teaching. If you practice the teaching and you try your best, then you're never apart from your teacher. You're always with him. And when you do see him, it's you don't miss a beat on catching up, and he knows where you're at, and you know that you've tried your best. You come to him with an open heart and ready to receive any instructions that he may offer you. And they know if you're ready to receive those instructions or not. Teachers do. So if you go to a teacher with a pure heart, then that heart is ready to be filled up. And, you can't cheat the Buddha. The Buddha knows if you're practicing or not. And if you're practicing, you'll be taught accordingly, according to your realization, practice, capacity. One of the beauties of that instruction, that 3-word instruction, is that it works across the board. In my own experience, I've seen very gifted meditators that kind of, because they were so gifted, thought that they deserved the instructions of the teacher, the heart and mind of the teacher, and that he would be very willing to work with them. But instead, those people get ignored by the teacher, and the teacher will focus more on a beginner with very little skill, but who's trying his very best. And that's where the teacher's time and love and energy goes. And the disciple that is very gifted but doesn't try his best is ignored. It doesn't win the favor of the teacher. So it's like not resting on your laurels, so to speak, that old saying. So if we practice the Dharma, we're all at very different levels, whether we're beginning or advanced. We're all at very, very, very different levels of practice. And the main thing is to keep in mind is whatever your level is, you practice at that level as best you can, because that is how you attract blessings. And blessings are very, very essential to Dharma practice and meditation, is attracting the support you need for practice. So part of try your best is to try your best across the board. There's a wonderful saying in Chan Buddhism, make all things equal. That's another 3 words, make all things, 4 words, equal. Leveling all things, that's the 3-word version. So leveling all things and trying your best, they're very much connected. Because a lot of times what happens when we practice is we may try our best in seated meditation, try our best in study, and so forth, and things directly connected with the path of meditation itself, that we know this is part of the spiritual path. But we're less inclined to try our best outside of that domain. But unfortunately, outside of that domain is just as important as far as Dharma practice goes as inside the domain. I call them adjunct practices. It's not directly connected to meditation, but it's indirectly supporting meditation, adjunct practices. So that accounts for basically everything else we do throughout the day. So we actually try our best in those things too. What that entails usually is, watching our desires. By that I mean watching outflows. Watching where the mind flows, like where the eyes go, the mind flows. So a lot of times it's what attracting the mind, whether it's food, clothing, cars, gadgets, money, fame, all of these things, that go outside of, so-called spiritual practice. Those have to be, considered adjunct support. So the way they become adjunct support is restraint. So, you see your mind going out, flowing out towards something else as a source of pleasure, happiness, and so forth. And you find a middle ground where you don't, just follow follow the whatever it is. You bring your practice to mind, because whatever that is, where the mind flows out, it'll flow out also in meditation. It'll have the tendency to flow out. But if you exercise restraint on outflows in one's life, then it's easier to restrain the mind from wandering from the meditation topic when you're actually meditating or studying or doing any other kind of Dharma practice. So it's all integrated. It's trying your best is not just to try your best in spiritual practice. It's trying your best in everything. It's considering it. It's a good way to look at it is to consider everything as an offering to the Buddhas and Bodhisattvas, so to speak. And the offering is that you're trying to do everything really good, and not just flowing out into the world and losing yourself in it. You're trying to keep a sense of groundedness, identity with your overall spiritual ambitions, which become more clear through restraint outside of the actual pure spiritual practices. What we do throughout the day has kind of a thread of meditation, and we treat these, whatever we do, as a support for practice by being mindful when we do things, exercising restraint in what we acquire, what we want, and basic things, keeping them to necessities, and simplicity. Simplicity is a wonderful practice to try one's best to embody. So these are some of the thoughts about trying your best, which was one of the main instructions of Master Hsuan Hua, and one of the ones that is very dear to my heart, because it's affected me tremendously, and I found it basing a whole practice on it really helpful.
It's called the city of 10,000 Buddhas. It's called the city of 10,000 Buddhas. Started with the thought to bring enlightenment to every living thing. It's a place for cultivation. It's a place for transformation of the common one into